Hello there. So, something that came up recently was someone mentioned in terms of comments, usual comment, 0 pictures, 0 anything, but ultimately about going full tilt, training with only live blades, not pulling punches, killing people that you train with, all of these wonderful things. There's a big difference between training safely, pulling punches, and dialing back on intent. So when we used to train some of our college students for self-defense, personal protection, self-protection, whatever you want to call it, one of the things we used to do was we would use one step, which would be a very slow flow, or step-by-step flow, and it was from Rory Miller. So one of the things in that, and the key rule was, you move slowly, but you move slow enough to touch an eyeball. So if you're doing or delivering a move, you would move slow enough to touch an eyeball. It means you can get right into the space that you would be were you to do it with full intent. Now, the other thing is you are actively removing the completion of that intent. And you're only doing that for the simple purpose that you want to keep a training partner and not gouge out another person's eye just for the sake of an exercise. So, touching an eyeball or moving slow enough to touch an eyeball, get right to the point where you can touch that eyeball so you get used to that feeling. So this is Boris. Boris is our gouging mitt. So Boris has lovely, squishy eyeballs, and those are designed for exactly the next part of building intent. We couldn't use people's eyes to do these things, but thankfully Boris didn't mind. So when we would train our drills, when we would work hard, when we would start kind of driving in, getting people to strike and maul and stick their thumbs into things, that's how we build that intent up further and allow them to carry out the action safely without damaging another person's eyeballs. So, key things are, you can use also things like sliced up lemons or oranges and get used to that squishy feeling. You can do the Halloween trick of putting, skinless grapes in a bowl. It gets people used to the feeling of eyeballs apparently, tricks them into it. All of these different things. But seriously, training with intent and removing the final action because you don't want to maim someone is a big difference than barely touching the eyeball. Slow enough to touch an eyeball, then practice in the right place, folks. Thoughts and comments below. Give it a like. Boris would like some likes. Good boy, Boris. You're welcome.